Welcome back to Peril Outdoors. On today's video, we're going to finish turning this old boat trailer into a capable off-road four-wheeler trailer. Welcome back and thanks for watching. Have you ever had a need for an off-road trailer and looked into buying one and realized that they are several $1,000s? I did, and I decided why not just build my own. This old trailer started off as a boat trailer in its life, then became an attempt at a flatbed that someone built, and today I'm going to turn it into an off-road trailer to pull behind the four-wheeler. I have many uses for it. One, I like to backcountry elk hunt, haul firewood at camp, and this one we're going to go ahead and put a kayak rack on top. That way I can take it into some backcountry high mountain lakes and hard to get to places on the reservoir that otherwise I wouldn't be able to take a boat out on. It's not my first attempt at building one. I built this one a few years back. As with most projects, the more I tested, the more problems I found that needed fixed. First, it was too top heavy, so I dropped in a section for my cooler so the weight sat lower. Then I found it was too long, so I shortened it down and added new decking. Now it's a fantastic 50-inch trailer and worked great for last year's elk hunt. But it doesn't fit all my needs. So that's why we've decided to build a new, better, improved version. This one, to catch you up to speed, I've already cut the tongue down by about 3 feet. Added in these nice supports down here. Got it all welded up and solid. Decided to leave the original axle. And on these axles, there's multiple different options on putting one on a four-wheeler trailer. The other trailer I showed you, that one had 2 front hubs taken off an old four-wheeler and had an axle piece welded between to make it down to that 50-inch, and it worked really well. But on this one, we decided to leave the original. As you'll see here, a lot of these old boat trailers have a 4-on-4 hub pattern already. And if you get lucky, you can go ahead and find rims like this that just bolt right onto it. This one came off a 1988 Polaris Trail Boss and happened to work perfect. And on this trailer, I decided to go ahead and leave it, wider than 50-inch. There's not many trails where I go over here on this part of Idaho that have 50-inch restrictions. And I wanted a little bit more stability for hauling in all the weight for camp, and the stability for on top when getting up high with my kayak rack. And in a worst case scenario, if someone else's four-wheeler broke down, this one is just wide enough and long enough to be able to load it on and haul it out for them. So today, we're going to get started on putting on these side rails. Get them welded, and we end up with side rails down the side to keep everything in. We'll go ahead and get started on that and show you how that's done. So the first step in getting these side rails on is going to be going through and cleaning the old paint off this trailer so we have something good to weld to. We'll go ahead and get started on that and then catch you up with the rest. Remember, safety glasses and gloves, very important. Okay, now that we got these cleaned up, we'll go ahead and tack them in place, make sure they're all squared up exactly where we want, and then weld them solid and start on the side rails. that we got all these tacked on, we'll go ahead and measure them, make sure they're all squared to where we want, and then weld them the rest of the way. All right, now that we got the sides welded on, we're going to go ahead and start measuring how long to put our cross pieces. Do the same things before, grind these down so we have a good spot to weld to, and let's get some sides on. Now that those are cleaned up, we'll go ahead and measure each one of these, see what lengths we need, take our side pieces and get them cut down and get those welded on as well. So let's figure out what we need for side pieces. Always a good idea too, have your marker with you. Go ahead and get them measured out exactly where we need to be. All right, this first one here, we're going to be 38 1/4. So we'll go ahead and write that down here. Keep moving all the way around. Right at 37. Do the same thing now on the other side. We'll be ready to start putting these on. Okay, we got those. Let's go ahead and get them cut, and we'll get them on. Okay, here we go. We need this first one at 38 1/4. And this one is going to be the exact same to match the other side. Okay, we'll go ahead and get these cut. Just like that. I think we'll go ahead and get these two welded on, and then we'll double check our measurements for the back ones. It's always best to measure twice and only cut once, because if you're short on materials, you don't want to mess up. Same thing as last time. I'll go ahead and tack these up, and then we'll make sure they're right where we want them. While we tack them up, sometimes it doesn't work out like you want the first time. Okay, take a look and see what we think. Looks pretty good to me. Let's go ahead and finish them off here. Okay, we'll go ahead and finish off the other ones all the way around and be back with you. All right, now that we got the top rails on, we're going to go ahead and measure from the frame of the trailer to the top rail and try to get exactly halfway to do the second row. So from there to the bottom is 16, so we're going to go here to 8 and make a mark, and that's going to be our halfway point. Go ahead and do it on all 6 of these, and then we'll go ahead and get these ground down as well and start welding the bottom rows on. Now that we've finished up those side rails all the way around, we're going to go ahead and work on installing this kayak rack. So what it actually is was an old roof rack from an SUV, but we're going to go ahead and modify this thing to fit right here on the four-wheeler rack, which will be nice. She'll double as not only a kayak rack, but also be a fantastic cover for bad weather and to keep all my gear dry while we're out camping. Now that we got those in place, we'll go ahead and get them welded on. Now that we got these kayak racks securely installed on top, we're going to add a couple more supports on the bottom just to give the wood floor a little bit better of a base. After that, we'll be done welding and we'll be ready to move on to the next step. So I'll go ahead and get these tacked into place and we'll move on. Alright, with those floor supports now in, we're done welding. We're ready to move on to the next step. Next step here is going to be take some sandpaper. I like to use an 80 grit and just rough up all the surfaces of this old paint. That way the new paint, when we're done, will stick really well So we'll go ahead and get sanding and catch up when we're done. It's now the next day. I got the trailer fully sanded down and pressure washed and prepped for paint. So today we're going to go ahead and get the whole trailer painted. We're using a Rust-Oleum paint, probably my favorite paint to use. I've been using it on all my projects. It's very durable, very long lasting, and seems to really take the abuse of, you know, what this is going to go through, going through brush and rocks and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So I won't bore you with painting the entire trailer, but we're going to get started here with a brush, and I'm using a brush because from my experiences, it goes on really thick and really well on these kind of projects. A roller takes several coats, seems like it takes a lot longer, and spraying just takes a lot and it costs a lot of money in spray cans. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the brush, and I just kind of go over and just start hitting the entire trailer. You get a good, nice, thick coat on everything. You see any other paint sticking through, we'll go ahead and touch it up, but one coat should cover the whole thing. We'll catch back up when this whole thing's done. It's been a few days now. The paint's now on and dried and cured, and we're ready to move on to the next step. As you can see, I've already cut a piece of plywood and got it set on here. So the goal for today is to get it bolted down using these nice rounded carriage bolts, and then get it stained and be ready for waterproofing, and then we are done with this trailer and ready to test it and see how she works. We'll go ahead and do the first one now. I already got the hole drilled, and after that we'll go through and drill the rest of them and get this bolted down. So go ahead and slide it down through the pre-drilled hole. I like these carriage bolts because they're rounded on top, and then that way you don't have to worry about it catching on any of your stuff. So we'll go ahead and get the rest of them done. Alright, so now we got this wood deck bolted down with all these carriage bolts here. So what we're going to go ahead and do now is stain the wood to kind of give it a little nice color to it, and then we'll waterproof it to protect it from the weather. So we got a little section started here. So I'll just kind of show you real quick. I usually take my brush down into the stain and then come back up, and I just slowly work my way across the entire thing until it's done. So I'll go ahead and get this caught up and we'll check back in. Alright, so we got this thing fully stained now, and we'll go ahead and give it 24 hours to fully dry and cure. Then we'll do that waterproofing, and then we're ready to test this baby out. She's going to be done. It's been 24 hours and we're ready to waterproof this thing. I'm going to go ahead and use this True Seal Clear Coat. It's just a nice overall waterproofing for all surfaces. Today we're going to go real easy. I'm just going to kind of dump some around, use my roller, roller it in, and should be ready to go for anything outdoor use. We'll go ahead and just start here by dumping a little bit. It doesn't matter if I dump too much, because we're just going to take the roller and just spread it everywhere here until we got a nice coat on the whole thing. And we'll go ahead and get it rolled in. You don't have to worry about, not putting too much on. It'll go pretty far. And then if we think we need another coat, we'll go ahead and hit it again tomorrow. But this should cover it for the purposes of what I need. Just like that, we got our first coat of waterproofing on. I think I will go ahead tomorrow and do one more coat, just to give it the best chance it's got against the weather. So I was going to be done with this and go on to testing, but I decided last second to go ahead and put an E-track system on this for all my tie downs. That's been shipped, should be here soon, and as soon as that gets here, we will get that put on, and then we'll go test this baby out. Good morning and welcome back. Late last night, I went ahead and got that second coat of waterproofing on here. Got it all ready to go. And then my E-track came in the mail. So this morning, we're gonna go ahead and get that put on, and this thing will be done. So I've already gone through and I've already measured out where I wanna put these little E-tracks. Now I'm gonna go through and drill the holes, and then we'll bolt them on and should be ready to roll. Okay, now we should be able to go through and get them all bolted on. All right, so we got these E-tracks on. We went all the way around, and then right here in the middle, we ended up putting these to kind of secure the kayak down on top and to get some straps over the axle in case we ever decide to put some fender flares on this thing. We won't have to worry about the E-track being in the way. So we see here, we went ahead and went all the way around this thing. Got them on all the way around the front, sides, back. This thing should be ready to strap down just about anything we want to throw at it. Well, it's been about a week, and due to some pretty unforeseen bad weather with the fog rolling in and just life getting busy, we haven't been able to get out and test. But today we're out at the old farmstead, and we're going to unload this thing and take it for a ride and just see how it does and see how the old Yamaha pulls it. So we'll get it unloaded and start testing. Well, everything seemed to work pretty good with the trailer. It tows behind the four-wheeler really nicely, and I think it's going to work for everything that I need it for. Eventually down the road, I might go ahead and put some fenders on and maybe replace the tires, but for now, this is going to wrap up this video. So please, like it, hit the subscribe button, and, share with all your friends. Until next time, thanks, and get out and enjoy the outdoors.